That's all that was on that cruise. We're live. We're live right now. Yep.
Yeah, I need to put on my iPad. So I may be a second late. I remember I got
So weird. Sometimes it glitches. Yeah, we're live, but it's so weird that sometimes my page glitches and I can't see that we're live. It's so strange. Facebook.
Okay, I'm on mute. I'm on it. Say something so Charles knows you're here.
We're here. And we are starting. And hello, everybody. This is Charles, and we are coming to you live from the Norwegian Cruise Line Latitudes members page on Facebook. Today is Monday, January 20th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm here with Mr. Dirk, the world famous Dirk Breakbush. What's going on, Dirk?
Well, being world famous, nothing is happening, Everything, like I said, Charles, everything is going on, including the rent.
That's good. Yeah, it's been an exciting week in the group. Lots of interesting posts. I'll say it that way. Hold on, I gotta mute this. Lots of interesting posts in the group this week, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of them were deleted. We were able to get rid of a lot of the bizarre posts that were. One that comes to mind is that lady who asked, I forget what carnival ship, but she said, is the carnival something, and then in the NCL fleet, and then she got mad at everybody when they started talking about her, right? I remember that one.
Yeah, they all made fun of her, too, yeah.
And then today there was a post about the animal rights that we could kind of get rid of really quickly. Well, I kept it, hoping to talk about it in detail tonight, and then a lot of people were complaining about it, so it was deleted. And it's a beautiful day up here today in New York, folks. It's a little chilly, 28 degrees. The sky was clear today, and I am looking forward to the spring. What about you, Dirk? You're in the beautiful Alabama. How's the weather by you?
Well, I'm in Alabama, right on the border of Florida, and the most famous Flora-Obama is right down the street, which is an amazing place. And as a matter of fact, it is cool today. It's in the 50s, but beautiful sunshine. So a little cool, but it's going to get back up into the 60s, 65s. So it's pretty nice down there. But the problem is too many foreigners down here. People from all over the place, like
from outside of Alabama.
Michigan, foreigners, Michigan. I mean, it's converted into Yankee Town. They're more northerners up here, and the good thing is, I think I was the youngest person in the restaurant the other day, and I'm over 70, so it made me feel good. So that's the time.
Oh, that's nice. It's funny.
All the snowbirds down here.
Everybody's down there. Yeah. It's funny because I used to visit my uncle down in Florida. He has a place on the West Coast, on the Gulf Coast of Florida. And it's funny because how the highways run in Florida, you find that on the West Coast of Florida, you get a lot of people from like the Midwest because the major highways come down from the Midwest on the west side. And then on the East Coast of Florida, you get a lot of people from the East Coast of the United States because all the major highways like I-95 run straight down from the Northeast all the way down to Florida. So it's pretty funny. And then it would be deserted in the summer, and in the winter down there was packed with people. So I always had a lot of fun going down to visit them. It was very nice. But I'm actually at an age now where I have to start thinking about where I'm going to land as I get a little bit older because, time goes quick, right, Dirk?
Yeah.
I look at my kids.
The funny thing down here, Sir Charles, is that, like you said, in that area they were coming up, but there are very few Canadians down here. They're mostly Michigan and that area. But very, very few Canadians. I guess they're more down there in the midsection of Florida. Uh,
I was looking at
like you
the
said,
yeah. I was looking at the Star, and it's been moving quick. Like I don't know for some reason I just think it's the port that the Star visits is really interesting down in South America, where it's summer right now. And I looked at its location. I did the same thing as I did last week. I wanted to see where it was at, and I was hoping I could look at the bow cam and see the bridge cam and see some mountains, but you really can't. There's a picture of the bridge cam here. It looks like a beautiful sunset on the Star that's happening right now. So beautiful, even though it's 10 o'clock there.
where is it? What's the location?
This is the Star in South America, on the
Oh,
west coast of South America in Chile.
oh, Chile.
Yeah, I was hoping to see the mountain. It looks beautiful. I've never been. I know they go to so many great destinations, and I've been to the Caribbean like crazy. I'm so bored of like going to the Caribbean, even though it's beautiful and it's a nice getaway. I want to start
Well,
exploring these exotic destinations.
I spent a
Quote
lot of
quote
time
unquote.
I spent a lot of time in South America during my working days, and Chile is beautiful, and of course it's all mountainous. And Santiago, for example, is almost like LA because it's surrounded by the Andes,
Yeah,
so you
it's
got the same
beautiful.
kind of you know uh, bad exhaust and everything else, and it's hanging over the city. But when you drive through the hills towards the seaside, when you go through the big tunnel which goes down there, it's clear.
Yeah, it
But
looks gorgeous.
well, the Andes, go all the way down South America, and Chile is, if you look at the map, you see how long Chile is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not very wide, but it's long.
you can see the greenery too, like how lush it is. Yeah, it looks beautiful.
My son just spent 3 months in Ecuador. And,
Is he
uh,
back now?
yeah, he came back day before yesterday.
Oh, just in time for the cold weather. It got really
Yeah,
cold up here.
but tomorrow he's going to California, so
Oh, that's
so
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I like to head out there. And I was looking at the Jade too, and I was like, in Asia. That's another place that's on my list of places to visit. Then I looked at the bridge camp, but it looks so foggy. It's not even worth showing. It's like hanging out there in Asia. And the ships are, it's curious, pretty soon when the weather gets nice, all these ships are going to reposition. They're going to see some ships in Alaska every year. We go through the same thing. And it's funny, once it starts getting warm up here in North America, we just get thousands and thousands of new members. It's actually pretty impressive, right, Dirk?
Yep.
It's almost hard to keep up with. I remember the busy season in the group early this year, and like I'd wake up to have like 150, 200 requests to join. So here's the Jade. Maybe we'll do a Jade ship tour.
I see old Thomas is going to be in Buenos Aires.
Yeah, Tom, I just saw that. I want to say hello to everybody who's listening. All the regulars are here. We got Tom. Tom is coming from Port Canaveral. Oh, are you going out, Tom? Are you going out on a ship, or are you hanging out in your place down there? Are you going out in any of the ships, or are you just hanging out at your place? That'd be interesting to know. And Andrew, what's up, Andrew? Andrew's been a member for a long time, very active. How you doing, Andrew? Nice to see you, man. And Kerry, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? How you doing? We got Patricia. All the folks are here. So welcome, everybody. This is the Yamin Show. I'm Charles. With me is Dirk. And we broadcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Norwegian Cruise Line Latitudes members page, just to have fun and connect with the members. And we talk about cruise news information. We talk about the what's going on in the group, the previous, during the week previous to the show. And we try our best to entertain you. So welcome to the show. And there's Lisa. What's up, Lisa? How you doing? And we got to talk about Dirk. Last week, one of the members, who I think wants to remain private, but if I'm wrong, let me know. brought up a cruise line called Genting. Do you remember that? Oh, you weren't on last week, Dirk. Have you ever heard of the cruise line
Wasn't
Genting?
Genting.
Yeah, Genting Cruise Lines. Yeah, this is their main page. Have you heard of this group?
No, how do you spell that?
Genting.
Genting. What they do? They do like
And it's very funny because they have ships, especially the Dream cruises. So there's three divisions to Genting. And I'm sorry to get off topic, but this is just, it's kind of not off topic. It's kind of very interesting. So they have the Crystal Cruises. Have you heard of them? I think I've heard of them before I've heard of
yeah,
Genting.
sure.
And then Dream Cruises. Have you heard of that?
Yep.
So they have Dream Cruises and then they have Star Cruises. And Dream Cruises, they have breakaway class ships. Did you know this?
Nope.
Yeah, it's
Like
like
a
it's so funny. And so Genting folks, they're mainly in Asia. They mainly cruise out of Asia. In fact, I didn't see any really. The Dream Cruises is definitely exclusively in Asia, and they have ships. Their ships were made at the same German shipyard. What's the name of that shipyard in Germany, Dirk?
Meyer Werft.
Right, Meyer Werft. And they all their ships were made in Meyer Werft. Hope I'm saying that right, Dirk.
That's
And
close.
and their Dream class ships are exactly like the breakaway class ships. It's like unbelievable how similar they are on the exterior. So this is the Genting
uh,
Dream. What's that?
By the way, while we are on China, Happy New Year in China. It's the year of the rat.
Oh, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. You're the rat. Wow. Yeah, it's big. China's been in the news lately. In fact, somebody posted about it. The post got reported. Did you read it? There was a post
What?
about, there's that respiratory virus that's happening in China.
Oh yeah.
And somebody posted about it. I guess one of the members thought it wasn't an appropriate post, and they flagged it for review by you and I. But it was really just about that new respiratory illness that there's an outbreak in China. There's a new respiratory illness that's apparently
Yeah.
very dangerous and can cause pneumonia. And the CDC in the United States is trying to contain it. So at JFK, at all the major cities, Los Angeles, JFK, I'm sorry, Los Angeles, New York. When I say JFK, I meant JFK Airport. They're all trying to contain it, and they're screening passengers coming off of planes from a particular area in China to make sure that that disease doesn't spread. Right now, they're saying in the United States it's very low risk. But I digress, Dirk. I digress. Well, I'm talking about the Genting Dream. And I pulled it up before, and because it looks so similar to breakaway class ships, I mean, they even paint their hulls. They even paint their hulls like Norwegian does. And I just thought it was amazing. And again, this is brought to our attention by one of our members, and the member I know is listening. And if you want to be identified, I could give you a shout out, but I don't want to reveal who you are. Because I believe they sent me this stuff in confidence. But it's amazing how similar the deck layouts are. They even have a waterfront on this cruise ship. So if you look at Deck 8, and it's kind of strange how they promote their ships. Can I get this? Can I zoom in on this screen? I don't think I can. Let me pull it over from, hold on. Here we go. They have a whole waterfront on Deck 8. Just like the breakaway. See that? The boardwalk. They have a whole outside around the perimeter of the ship. And then I tried to do a side-by-side comparison. So I pulled up the Deck 8 of the Norwegian Breakaway. Not identical. Not quite identical. I mean, the interior is, the interior walls are definitely moved. But look at this. This is the Breakaway now. And see if I can get let's see if I can broadcast some kind of comparison so you could see what I'm talking about. Let's see. So here's the Breakaway. Of course I can't see it. All right, Breakaway Deck 8. Look at this. So here's Deck 8 on the Genting Dream. It's the identical ship. It seems to me the shape of it is identical. It's like here, you can see the flare out. Even room numbers are similar. Well, look what they did on the Genting Dream. They did 8610 and 8110. And on the Breakaway, they just reversed the numbers. So here it says 8180 and 8780. So they just took the room numbers on the and reversed them on the Genting Dream. Look at this. How similar.
Unbelievable.
Isn't that funny? I just thought that was incredible. I just thought that was
But
incredible.
they're pretty much, what do you say, they're pretty much Asia based?
They're based in Asia. But you look at the hull, it almost looks like they took the same plans from Norwegian. Look, the staircase is here, staircase is here. They have a restroom here on the Breakaway, 2 restrooms around the stairs. The same thing. Look, they just portrayed differently on the Dream. Here's the elevator bank on the Genting Dream. You see those? You see those elevators there? And same thing here on the Breakaway. Look at the shape of the restaurant. So here's 2 restaurants here on the Genting Dream: the Seafood Grill and the Prime Steakhouse by Mark Best. And then on the Breakaway, very similar, very very similarly shaped La Cucina restaurant. Anyway, that's really the where the similarities end. I try to take, except for the center, you can see how the center has the this is where the chandelier is on the Genting Dream, the circle, and the Breakaway has the same thing. So it's so funny. I mean, the interiors are slightly different, but the elevator banks are identical. Even the room numbers are identical. They have the boardwalk on the perimeter. I just thought this was so interesting.
But I bet you.
Yeah.
But I tell you what the biggest, if the Asia bound, the biggest difference would be the casino, because normally what I've seen on the Asian ships, the casinos are 4 or 5 times the size of
Really?
the U.S. ships. Yeah.
We should look for it. I don't. Oh man, I should have consulted you before. So, what deck you think the casino's on? So, this is right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking at the deck plans of the Genting Dream, which is a Breakaway class ship for a completely different cruise line versus NCL, but they were made in the same shipyard. And we're trying to find the casino to compare it to the Breakaway casino. So, I don't see the casino yet, Dirk. Resorts World at Sea, maybe?
Would be.
That's probably it. Yeah, it's 2 levels. Yeah, because Resorts was owned by Merv Griffin. You think that's Resorts World at Sea? I think that's probably, that's got to be the casino.
Yep.
I can't see the comments right now because I'm on a different page. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah. They even have a whole thing. Yeah, wow. This is the casino. This
It's
looks like a
bigger, isn't it?
3-level casino.
See, I told you.
What are they saying in the comments?
That's
Okay.
remember when Norwegian tried to get into the Chinese market and took a bath.
Yeah.
They had, I think, triple the size casino and everything else. That's why when they had to restore it for the U.S. market, they had to, it dried up. They had a lot of work to do.
Oh, did I close that?
Not just relabeling everything else, but they had the same deal. They had the casino in 3 levels.
Yeah, they pulled out of the Asia market quickly. Maybe because of Genting. Who knows? They kind of have a.
Well, they lost. They didn't know how to handle the Asian market. They weren't ready for it. They just took a bad financially too.
So Andrew said it's okay to reveal that it was him. So shout out to Andrew for bringing this
Thank
to
you,
our
Andrew.
attention. So this is a good show topic about Genting on the Asia market and how they have these ships that are very closely related to Norwegian. So I'm just trying to pull up those Breakaway plans. I want to compare the casinos.
Well, Charles, see, the thing too is you got these based ship based, like European ship based, like the Italian, the German, etc., and it's a different market. It's the different languages spoken, different people, and they're really built for the particular market, because
Yeah,
the European market ships are a lot different than the American market ships.
absolutely.
So because different lifestyles, etc., etc. And I've met some German travelers that were cruised quite a bit, and they said that they hate to go on German cruise ships because uh, they said that the American ships are much more, uh, you know, much more open, much more classy. They're not as uptight as the German were, and the Italians are crazy. Italian ships. I went to a resort in Mexico. They had a huge contingent of Italian travelers. They kept them separate in the resort. They had their own shows and everything else because, they didn't want them to mix the Italians with Americans because they just it's a clash of nationalities, big time.
Yeah, those Italians are crazy, Dirk. Don't you know that?
Well, that's why I'm talking to you. But no, seriously, I mean, like the that's why I guess that Carnival is really the Carnival Corporation is really very much based on nationalities. They got the Holland America line, they got the Cunard line, they got all these different lines, the AIDA lines, which is based Europe, Germany, etc. Then they got the Costa line, which is pretty much Italian based.
Oh my
But
God, I
they,
saw you
they pretty
mentioned
much
Costa. I saw a review of one of the Costa ships today on YouTube. They destroy. I mean, it was a horrible review. I just did a search for YouTube for like horrible cruise ship reviews, and they have these YouTube personalities. For me, these YouTube personalities are just trying to tell you what to do. That sometimes I get very annoyed by them. But there was one guy. I mean, he showed. I mean, he showed pictures and video just showing one of the Costa cruise ships. We'll watch it. We'll watch it if you want. I could put it on. It's only about a minute long.
yeah,
The
let's
part
do
of
it.
the ship. But let me just show. So let's get back to the Genting and the versus the Breakaway. This is the Genting Dream deck plans that you're looking at. With the this is the Norwegian Breakaway overlay, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, one of our members brought to our attention that Genting Cruise Lines, which is primarily in the Asian market, has breakaway class ships. And Andrew, shout out to Andrew for bringing this to our attention. I think it's pretty interesting. And now Andrew just found out, and he's saying it in the chat, that Genting actually had a stake in NCL at one time, and then they broke off. So maybe they developed this class of ship together. Who knows? But the similarities are like uncanny. And so just to sum up, Dirk, we were talking about it, and Dirk had said that it'd be interesting to see the difference in the casino size, because the Asian market generally
Yeah,
enjoys
see,
their casinos more.
well, that's where Kerry. You see what Kerry said. He said that they used the casino design on the Joy when the Joy was on the Asian market.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah, Kerry. Yeah, that's a good point. You're probably right. So Kerry's bringing up a point where he's saying they shared the design expense. Yeah, that makes sense. And they
And
use the casino and the joy.
Asians are great. Asians are great on gambling and everything else. So that's why they had the larger casinos, and that's like you said, the Joy, the casino was like 4 times as large as on normal NCL ships. And like I said, I mean, these ships, these cruise lines are created or designed for the market, which makes sense for the market where their passengers are. That's why I said they got the AIDA, the German, the Costa, the Italians, and that's why a lot of Americans, they go on a German cruise ship or an Italian cruise ship, and they're totally flabbergasted, and they will never go back because it's a different world.
Yeah,
But you
I
know,
love it. I have to tell you, and everybody knows it in the group. It's one of the reasons why I started the group, is because I'm such a fan of NCL. I can't imagine like being happier. It just fits me perfectly. I'm a big fan of NCL. I love all the people on NCL. I love the ships on NCL. It's just for me, it's just the perfect fit. So I'm a big NCL fan. But it's interesting to look at what other people are doing. You know, I'm always interested in ships, and I've been interested in ships ever since I was a kid. I was fascinated with it. My grandfather actually worked on a mobile oil tanker, and he had in his living room a picture of the tanker in really rough seas.
It doesn't,
So,
Charles, doesn't count that my grandfather was on a U-boat.
wow, that's amazing. Really?
Would that count? I wouldn't think so.
Wow,
No, I
wow.
wouldn't think so. They
Did he?
wouldn't
Did
count
he?
those.
Did he get through the war? Did he
No,
make it
heck
through the
no.
war?
Heck no.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
the U-boat. I think the U-boat, the survival rate was about the same as the U.S. bomber rate.
Oh my
With
goodness.
with 60% or higher losses.
Oh my goodness. That's terrifying.
So, oh yeah, that's
You know, right across from your son is the Growler. Have you ever visited that submarine? The World War
yes,
II
yes,
era
I have.
submarine?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty.
that was the first one that had the rocket launchers.
Yeah. So, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, what I'm referring to at the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum on the west side of Manhattan, where very close to where Norwegian leaves, there's a included in the museum is access to a World War II ever submarine, where you could board and you could tour the submarine. It's one of the first submarines, or the first submarine, to carry a nuclear missile on board. It was one of the first submarines to start the nuclear deterrent, as they call it, where it would go underwater, obviously, and our enemies of America wouldn't know where it was. So it's interesting. If you're in New York and you're visiting and you're leaving on a Norwegian cruise line vessel, I like this Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. It's a lot of fun things, especially if you're a history buff. It's nice to go there and visit. But Dirk, we digress again, man. We're all off track talking about war. We don't want to talk about that stuff, right?
Heck no, heck no. But I tell you
We
one
want
thing,
to talk about genting.
since you're talking about genetics and everything else, but I tell you one thing. So which is amazing, right? What I said earlier is each nation, each part of the world, of course, has their own way of life, of food, and etc. etc. Uh, yeah, that's where you have Chinese restaurants and Indian restaurants and
Oh
everything
yeah.
else. So same thing with the cruise industry. They're building their ships according to their passengers or to their
Absolutely.
lifestyles.
I have a funny story about that. It's not funny, but it's kind of interesting. When I first so I went on a cruise. My first cruise was in the 80s, the late 80s, and it was on a Norwegian vessel, the Norway. I spoke about that on these shows before. And then the next cruise I went after that, I was kind of an NCL loyalist, and I went on the Norwegian Sea in the early 2000s because I was a teenager when I went on the Dawn. I'm sorry, not the Dawn, the Norway. And I went on a ship called the Norwegian Sea, and it was like one of the last vessels. But it was an interesting time. It was when NCL first came up with the freestyle concept, Dirk, in the early 2000s. And just like you said, I mean, you just made a reference to where the food, they want to fit the food to the market. And in the New York market, there's a lot of people that live in India. There's a lot of people that enjoy eating Indian food, and particularly, so they had the Indian Action Station. So we're on the Norwegian Sea, and the reason why it's so interesting, I remember this guy so distinctly. Every day he would come on the loudspeaker. As I said, there was a lot of attention to the freestyle cruising, and they were working very hard to accommodate all the passengers in a ship that was not built for freestyle cruising. So a guy would come on with a thick Austrian accent and say Asian Fusion Action Station. And I remember it to this day. Like, he just kept on, for me, every day he would say where the Asian Fusion Action Station was. and it sounded like like Arnold Schwarzenegger saying Asian Fusion Action Station. It was very funny, Dirk. I just like that's what I was saying the whole cruise to my wife at the time. I would say, where's the Asian Fusion Action Station gonna be? Because it was just like a cool series of words that I thought was so funny.
Hey, Chuck, I appreciate you call them Austrian, not German. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. But he had such an interesting accent, and he would come on every night and say Asian Fusion Action Station. So I thought it was great. I thought it was so funny. And then we'd go down to the to the main dining room. As I said, there weren't any of these specialty restaurants. Maybe Cagney's was around. I think Cagney's has been around forever. And La Bistro, I think, was around. But, I was a new cruiser. I liked the main dining rooms. I didn't have an issue with it. And as I said, they were testing out freestyle cruising. And it was only my ex-wife and I, on the ship. And every night I'd go to the main dining room. We'd have to give our room number. And we'd get a table for two. And every night, now we would sit at a different table every night. As I said, it was freestyle. But every night, it was the same Austrian guy, by the way, that was making the announcements. He would say, you got the best table in the house. Best table in the house. He was so enthusiastic. He was really trying to sell the freestyle concept. I fell in love with NCL. Anyway, I had a great experience on that ship.
Was he the food and beverage guy or the hotel
I don't know, but they were working hard on that ship with the new concept of freestyle cruising way back then. He must have been the director because he was in the main dining room. He was working. He was making sure that everybody had a good time. I wish I got his name because I would give it. He made such an impression, and he was noticeably working hard to create this, to bring to fruition this concept. In a major market, in a major U.S. market, the New York City market. He was really making sure people had a good time, that there was culturally appropriate food, that everybody was accommodated as quickly as possible during the rush times for dining, and they all were working hard to bring this whole concept to life. It was really an interesting time. I didn't realize it at the time, obviously, but I looking back and seeing where Norwegian was and the concept of freestyle and having been there at the very beginning of the concept and now being a loyal Norwegian Cruise Line loyalist, it was an interesting looking back on that particular cruise. It was an interesting time that I look back on with fondness, Dirk, as they say.
Yep.
So here's the deck plans, and we mentioned earlier that we're trying to compare the casinos on the Genting Dream, which is primarily in the Asian market, and how it is a breakaway class ship, very similarly designed, or identical really in design to the breakaway, with the exception of the interior walls. And so, folks, on the Genting Dream, the casino goes deck 6 and 7. It's a two-level casino on the Genting Dream, and they have even all these little premium rooms, international room. They have a whole thing, and this whole large area in the center of the ship is the casino on the 6th floor, and it goes up to the 7th floor. Resorts World at Sea. Oh, even the 8th floor. There's a little section here on the casino. Is this the 8th? So 3 levels, folks. Although even on the 8th floor it's small. Let's see what it is on the breakaway. So this is deck 6. Is this deck 6 on the breakaway? Here's deck 6 on the breakaway. I don't know if you folks could see it. I could try to make it a little bit bigger. Is the casino here? No casino on deck 6. So breakaway, no casino yet. So here's deck. Let's go to deck 7, Dirk.
I think it's deck 7.
All right, here's the casino. Pretty big casino. Pretty big casino on the breakaway. So let's look at deck 7 on the Genting Dream. So deck 7. Oh, well, okay. So deck 6 on the Genting Dream. It's a massive size casino on deck 6. On the breakaway, it's decked mostly a good, I'd say, a third of the ship? A good third of the ship on deck 7. So we're already down one level. We're already 1 floor below. And so that's deck 7. So the casino on on the Breakaway is markedly smaller, as you said, Dirk. You're
Oh, of
correct.
course, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so definitely a big difference in the casino. So I just thought that was interesting. I want to thank Andrew for bringing this to our attention. Really interesting story with Genting, how they have breakaway class ships and then not a Norwegian line. So I thought this was great. And as I had mentioned earlier, Genting is primarily in the Asian market and not so much competing with Norwegian. Maybe they have a friendly competitiveness. Who knows? But great story, Andrew,
Like
and thanks for bringing it to
staying
our attention.
out of each other's way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So we got a few new members. Hey, Deb, what's going on? And Mary's here. Hello, guys. Thanks for joining. And Andrew, just a shout out to Andrew once again for that information. And Dirk, during a conversation, I mentioned that bad review of that Costa cruise ship. I am going to try to find it because it was kind of funny. I mean, it looked horrible. And when I think about the standards that we have now as cruisers, and I would have been pretty upset. So I got to skip this ad. So this is from a channel called Right on the Mark. He has a pretty good amount of subscribers here. Mark does, and he went on a Costa ship, which we're about to see. Dirk, you with me?
I'm with you.
All right, here's Mark. Shout out to Mark, who's not a member of our group. He just does YouTube shows. So right now he's talking about Costa, and they said Costa has brought you this ship. He's being a little bit of a smart aleck.
Worst cruise ship ever. Well, that's
So here's
also
Costa.
that one.
Costa
That's also that
Victoria.
one that
Yep,
went,
it's been a while
went
since
down,
we've been.
that tilted there.
Right.
Remember?
Costa Concordia is the one
Yep.
that crashed and sunk because the captain was kind of, I guess, not paying attention to what was going on.
No, he was showing his girlfriend the clip
Yeah.
and he got a little bit too close. But it's owned by Convo.
Costa, yeah. Costa's owned by Carnival. But what's interesting about this, and it's not, and I have to say this because it would be unfair if I didn't say it, that this particular ship has since gone into dry dock and been renovated. So
Back from
Look
our
at this,
cruise
though.
That, went to Singapore
It's only about 2
and
minutes.
Bangkok and Cambodia and places beyond. And honestly, the cruise destinations were
Put it on.
fantastic. They really were. It was just the ship itself. And I, of course,
Have you
have
started?
alluded
You
to the
haven't started
fact
it
that
yet.
it was kind of a rust belt.
There you go.
Here are some of the things
started.
that we dealt with while on board the ship.
That's London right there.
look at this. No food. Look at that deck. That's not such a big deal, that rust. Look at the holes. Look at the holes on the pool deck. Look how horrible that is. That's horrible.
I don't see that part.
That's
Charles.
coming up.
Maybe. Oh,
Yeah,
here
it's
we
a
are.
little
There
bit of
it
a
is.
delay if you remember in the from what I see and what you see. You
No,
see,
we see it, yeah.
not a big deal with the rust, and there's the holes. Horrible, and look at this. I don't know. I paused it. Can you see that with the mug with the lipstick on it? Look at
I
this.
I wonder what kind of lipstick that is.
Oh my God, I'd be so PO'd if I had that. If I saw that.
That's Avon. Avon lady calling.
Can you imagine you get your food and you go to sit down and you're ready to drink your coffee and you look at your mug and that's there? Oh my God. And no ship renovation is going to fix that, folks.
Yeah.
Look at this. They didn't clean their room before they got on.
Well,
No
you don't-
toilet
I don't
paper?
see that. I still see the lipstick.
Oh, it'll come on. It'll come on. Yellow, brown water, cold water in the spa. You'll catch up, Dirk.
No toilet paper. Yep.
Oh, and that karaoke sounding music that I've been
You have to
playing
bring your
throughout
own,
the video. No, it wasn't karaoke. It was one of the onboard.
So I'll while you catch up, Dirk, to what's going on. So now he's talking about and the music that was playing in the background, the video. He's saying then that karaoke music that you hear in the background, that wasn't karaoke,
Live bands.
and
Yep.
that was one of their
That was
live
our
bands. He just said their entertainment. Here's the guy singing. They're terrible. Oh my God. So I thought that was so funny, and then I looked at some of the comments. So they actually, so this somebody posted a comment that they were on the Costa Victoria last week, and the boat was very good. They had a great time, blah blah blah. And then I started looking at. I got off on a tangent, and I went to Cruise Critic. Derek, you ever go to Cruise Critic?
Yeah.
So I went to Cruise Critic, and I started looking up I bad reviews. Whenever I look at reviews on anything, I always go to the bad reviews. So I pulled up the Encore because I was recently on the Encore in September and November. Sorry, and I had a really nice time on the Encore, and it got pretty good. So it had 99 reviews, and I was shocked to see it only had 2.5 stars. For a brand new ship, I thought that was very low, and of course, because I enjoy reading these things and yelling at people over the internet, I pulled up the bad reviews. Listen to this. This is just something I pulled out of my just the first thing I clicked on. I don't even know what it says. I'm about to read it for the first time now, so it may not even be entertaining. But this is from an anonymous user, obviously with a name. They only wrote one review ever on Cruise Critic. Gave the ship 2 stars. They had an Eastern Caribbean cruise that set sail just recently in January. This is the most recent one that I found that was relatively low. Midship mini suite with balcony. Now, I stayed in a mini suite, and I agree. I think I overpaid for a mini suite. You might as well get a balcony, I think. I mean, it's a mini suite gives you a little bit more room. I'm not sure how significant it was, but I think I overpaid for a mini suite too, Dirk, by the way.
Yep.
So this is a brand new ship, and they were very excited. We cruised on the Escape and Getaway, and we had a great experience. We spent
Hey, Chuck, for the smokers, this ship is not for you. So,
where does it say that?
during in that Norwegian cruise review by Cachito.
Oh yeah, it says it.
Yeah, he said that for.
Oh,
So
you
must be
read
a
it?
smoker.
Yeah, let's.
So he must be. He was upset with the smoking. I mean, that's.
Oh, where did you read? How'd you read that so quick? I don't see that. Let's read through it. Chachito. So this is the Chachito post. You said the entertainment was not so good. The pool area was crowded. I found the entertainment to be pretty good when I went. The pool area was crowded all the time and not enough chairs for 4,000 people. That actually happens to be true. So what happened with the Encore, folks, is they built that racetrack towards the aft of the ship on the same level as the pool deck, and so the racetrack and then that 3D augmented reality attraction really is in the back of the ship. So the pool area is pretty small, but they do have a little nice children's area. So my daughter ended up tanning in our balcony. At night, they had parties by the pool area and only one bar open. We had to take the elevator to the 8th deck to get a drink at the Mojito Bar and decided not to go back to the party. Yeah, look, these are the things, that are coming out. Who knows how true this is? Maybe they just are on a crowded vessel. I don't understand why they would close the second bar by the pool during the parties. Room service is non-existent. I never order room service on a trip. I know you like that, Dirk, right?
For the smokers, this ship is not for you. They have a smoking box outside of deck 8 without ventilation. Even the smokers in there were suffocating.
Oh, there it is. They have a smoking box outside on deck 8.
There's a nice cigar room.
You know what I found? A lot of people smoke cigarettes in the cigar room.
Yeah, they don't want them to smoke.
Yeah.
It really upsets the cigar people.
The atrium was beautiful, but they did not use it like they did on the ships. That's true too. The atrium is very beautiful, a lot of seating, but when I was there, they didn't really use it as much as they did on the other ships. Also, they had kids dancing classes during the day. At night, I didn't see anything worth going there to see. But they have those great shows. What is she talking about? They have the Choir of Man on the Encore and Kinky Boots. Well, I don't know what you're saying. They're free. At night, I didn't see anything worth going there to see.
Have you seen any Leonardo class ship deck plans yet?
No, I actually I emailed them. No, I haven't seen it. I actually emailed our contact at NCL, but they're being very tight-lipped about it. I also asked about what's that ship that's relaunching in February? I always confuse the Star and the other one.
I
What
think the Star, isn't it?
the Star, right? There's the one that's in dry dock now. Let me see. I could pull it up. But I tried to get some more information on that ship, and they were again. Yeah, this is the one that's in dry dock. Spirit, that's the one. So the Spirit's relaunching next month. So I was trying to get the inside scoop on any events they have, and they were even being tight-lipped about that. I don't know if they have any events or if they're just going to have a sailing. If any of our members know, I'd be interested if they got word about it. Yeah, the Spirit, Deb. I don't know what they're doing. It's in France right now. It's in dry dock, getting a major facelift and overhaul, and they're going to have like a relaunching in February. But I haven't seen anything. I mean, they made a beautiful video on the NCL website about the Spirit with the newly reimagined spaces. I played it last week. If you guys are interested, you can go back in the video section and take a look at it. But I tried to get some information on it, and they weren't spilling their beans. They weren't spilling the beans, Dirk. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
So either, go ahead.
maybe they haven't finalized everything. I don't know.
Yeah, either they haven't finalized it or they're just not doing it. Maybe they're just gonna, put it back in the water and start their first cruise. I didn't see anything with a major event planned. I didn't see anything like that planning with the Spirit. So we'll see. But they got. I think it's starting like not in 2021. I think in 2022 they're gonna have like a new ship every year for those Leonardo class ships. New ship every year for like 5 years in a row.
They're not that small either.
No, they're not, and I was surprised to see their size and the passenger ratio. I thought there would be less passengers on it. The way I went to one of these Cruise Next presentations, and I thought, based on what the gentleman said that was doing the presentation, that there'd be significantly less passengers on the Leonardo class, and then they would be, about the same size as the Breakaway Plus class. But it's not that much of a difference. It's actually it's going to be interesting to see. Capacity is lower, but the ships are just a tiny bit smaller than the Breakaway Plus class, if I remember correctly. So where were we, Dirk? What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about these lovely reviews. So bad reviews for the Encore. Shockingly low grade on Cruise Critic, which is Cruise Critic a reliable source for cruise information, Dirk, anymore?
It depends who pays them.
That's right. They're like the Yelp of the cruise industry. I'm employed, but I basically, I oversee an area in a health system. And Yelp contacted me, and they said that if I pay them, they're gonna promote the more positive reviews. Do you know that?
Well, the thing is, you remember what's the other trip? The largest travel.
TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor had serious problems years and years ago. It's because where they would pay. Would pay people to put positive comments in, and they
Oh my God, really?
They even had their hotel owners, etc., under a different name or whatever, put in their advertising their own places, and they had a lot of lawsuits going on and everything else, and they had to change their whole policy because they weren't really. The comments from real people. There were comments like so positive and everything else, and things weren't even there that they described. So I mean, they had serious problems.
Oh my God, I like TripAdvisor. I use that a lot. So one of the members asked.
Like I said, they had serious problems.
Wow. I find that TripAdvisor, for the most part, is reliable. I remember looking at a hotel in Florida when I was making a family trip down there. It's called Floridays, and at the time it was a #1 ranked hotel in the Disney area, and I went there based on the TripAdvisor recommendation. I loved it. I thought it was great, and we had a great experience. It was one of those places where it has a a kitchenette with a washer dryer and all that. And for the price, it was really reasonable. My family and I had a great time. So the
No, no.
TripAdvisor is good.
What I'm saying, TripAdvisor now is
Reliable?
It's reliable.
Oh, they
I
had a
mean,
scandal.
but oh yeah, I mean
Scandal.
They had a huge blow up.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
oh yeah, I mean they almost went out of business.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. But I like them
yeah.
now.
And,
So
so they're pretty dead on. I mean, you still get, people posting stuff that are not true. But I mean, if you read, I think if you see a normal amount of everything being super, you got to read in between
Yeah.
the lines. You
yeah,
got to
that's
read.
true.
You got to take like the middle of the road.
Yeah, let's take. I'm
Yeah.
I'm actually pulling up.
Like what they say, Charles, take the worst one out and take the best one out, and what you're left with, that's probably the truth.
Yeah, I'm looking up Norwegian cruise line on TripAdvisor as we talk. Since I want to see what they say. What TripAdvisor rating has of the Encore versus if it's
Encore
even
gets
on
a lot
there.
of negatives because that's true. That Encore gets a lot of negatives because of the Spice H2O missing
Yeah,
in the small pool area. So
I'm looking up Norwegian Cruise Line Encore. I can't find the ship yet on TripAdvisor. Oh, 3.5 stars. So it's 41 reviews. Oh, they do a 5-star. They do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what is Cruise Critic? Is 1, 2, 3. On Cruise Critic, I got 2.5. 1, 2. What is this? Oh, the Cruise Critic editor ranked it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Customer review is 2.5 out of 5 stars on Cruise Critic, and on TripAdvisor, I just had it. What I do with it? TripAdvisor customer review has it at 4.5 stars, which is the same as the editor on Cruise Critic. Interesting. So
but Charles, seriously, what you can really do, not just on Cruise Critic or what's related to hotels or ships, etc., is what they do when they score some sporting events, where they take the top score out and they take the lowest score out and go with the medium scores. Then you pretty much because the Russian referee is going to lean towards this Russian person.
Yep.
The German is going to lean towards the German person or whatever. So I think if you take the worst one out and you take the best one out, and the medium ones, they're pretty much right on.
Look at this guy. This guy even put his full name on his review. He took a picture of his key card, I guess, to validate what he was talking about. That's unusual. But he really he ripped it apart. Let's see. So this was my first cruise, and I hope my last experience on Norwegian. I went with my girlfriend and her family on this last New Year, and all of us were very disappointed and frankly very angry. First of all, the staff on the ship were very rude, specially instead of especially. Those at guest services where I saw many people complaining very loudly. Waiters, but mostly bartenders, were basically not nice, very rude. Secondly, the activities on the ship were all booked and full. You couldn't get to do anything. I don't even want to tell you about the pool. It was disgusting. If you wanted to relax, you had to pay extra for the Vibe Club. We obviously tried, but it was full. If you wanted to drink at the casino, where I was most of the nights and spent generously, it took, not joking, 45 minutes. My God. If you were lucky to get a drink, the included restaurants were closed from 3 to 5. So if you were hungry at the time, you were basically screwed. That's not true. You go to the buffet. What's he talking about? The food.
He normally travels on Costa.
He's a Costa customer. My girlfriend lost her credit card on the ship. We went to the lost and found and were told, and where they told us they did not have it. 20 minutes later, we got a call to our room that they had found the card the day before. They just didn't look for it when we went, so we had it canceled. Oh my God, that's funny because I remember in the group somebody posted about that. Do you remember that? That was a long time ago, Dirk. It might have been last year. Somebody posted about that they lost something on the ship and guest services initially denied having it, and then a short time later they had discovered it. I could go on and on, but basically it was an expensive and bad experience. Don't do it, trust me. So this guy seems like a young guy. This seems like a millennial, like complaining. I don't know. Am I wrong?
No, I think he also said somewhere that the Earth is flat.
Flat Earth and hollow moon. Dave, what is this? Let's see. What did he? One contribution. So this is his own the review. What does this guy do? This guy has two contributions. It takes guts to post your full name, and I guess he posted his key card to prove that he actually was on the ship. So this is. Let's look to see if we can get a negative from somebody with. No, everybody only has one. Except for Eduardo, he has 2 reviews. These are all the negative reviews about the Norwegian Encore. So 1-star ratings on TripAdvisor. And this guy, his one that's interesting, Dave. Okay, I guess first my credentials. My family and I cruised many times on many of the cruise lines, including Disney, Royal, Princess, and Carnival. We were excited about the prospect of a brand new ship in the Encore, but ended up extraordinarily disappointed. First, the boat was designed very poorly. We've heard some criticism about that, Dirk. Most of the space on the top deck is taken up by the go-kart speedway, in which reservations fill the first day. Thus, most don't even get to use it. An adult-only area, which is that he's talking about, the Vibe Beach Club, which one has to pay extra, and the Haven, a club level that, again, one pays extra. You don't really pay extra, you just pay a premium for the Haven. So I guess there goes his credentials. We had 2 balcony rooms and paid $14,000 for 2 adults and 3 small kids. What?
That's baloney.
Come on. And couldn't find any way to sit at the tiny family pool. In general, non-club pool area, there is an adult pool, and they could get for $14,000. I'm sure they could have got a Haven room.
Yeah, you do. You get a
2-bedroom Haven for that.
Oh yeah.
7-day cruise, 2-bedroom Haven. I don't know. 2 balcony rooms, $14,000. That was a bad choice. In general, non-club pool area, there's an adult pool and the kids pool. The kids pool is very small, although since it's basically the only pool that the kids can swim in. Yeah, that makes sense. The food situation is also really odd. I don't know. They call it the food situation. What would you call it? Dining? Food availability? I don't know. Breakfast ends around 9:30, except for the buffet, which also closes during odd times. There really isn't anywhere to grab a snack or a quick bite. I don't buy this review at all. This is a ridiculous review.
The Caribbean itinerary is absurd.
So didn't he know that before booking the cruise? Spending $14,000, allegedly. The boat does not handle well in any kind of seas. Basically, if the seas are 4 feet or above, prepare to be rolling. This guy is totally ridiculous. Dave, you just lost all credibility with me, my friend. We get craziness on the internet.
I'm surprised the ship was afloat.
Oh my God. This is a horrible, horrible. What is this kind of review? That's ridiculous. All right, what else we got? Dave, you lost my attention and your credibility. Let's see, we got Nahum K. I have 2 rooms. My rooms smell like dead fish. Housekeeping is simply spraying air scent to help. Management doesn't want to change my room. Worst cruise and worst management in the hospitality industry. There you go. You know what, Dirk? This was a very helpful review. I really appreciate Nahum's contribution to TripAdvisor. Never again. Food, regular food was good. Room was spacious with lots of places to store things. That's true. Some employees were very kind, especially those from India. Way too many people and not enough service. They seemed to have an overcrowded ship to get the most money out of everyone. Basically, everything was money. We've heard that. That's a fair criticism, Derek, don't you think?
Yeah.
Everything, yeah. That's like you pay a little bit of premium for those premium attractions on board. You're definitely not included in what you pay for your whatever cruise fare. Basically, everything was money. This is not what I know cruising for. It has always been pay one price and enjoy. We had to pay for everything. Every child entertainment had a price. For a family with 5 kids, it got very pricey, and they weren't even that good. Then that's not true because the attractions are pretty substantially good, especially those 3D attractions.
What are these from? The ones you read now?
This is TripAdvisor.
Okay.
Yeah, so it got a better review on TripAdvisor. I got 4.5 out of 5. I guess you can't call them stars. I guess you got to call them circles, whatever. 41 reviews the Encore has on TripAdvisor. And I'm just looking at the worst reviews. There were 4 terrible ratings. And so far, I haven't seen one credible. This is the problem with the internet. You get these ridiculous, angry people who in the moment they're angry and they lash out, and that's why I like reading these things. You got to do your due diligence, and sometimes make your own damn decisions because you can't trust what people say anymore. You can't even enjoy a massage without them selling you something. Well, they're trying to make money. We reserve. So here we go. Every child entertainment had a price for family of 5. It got very pricey, and they weren't even that good. That's not true. They're extraordinarily good. You need to make reservations for the go-karts and laser tag. We reserved for 12, and only 4 got to ride because they were either too small or too fat. I mentioned that before. They almost got me. They almost blocked me from getting on. They made me get on a scale. And they'll do that. They're going to do that, folks. What was the limit? 265 was the limit. So just so you know, folks, if you look like you're at or around 265, they're going to make you stand on a scale. I called before, and the communication for these things was not clear. In fact, it seems like no one at Norwegian is on the same page. Went for a massage, and again, they were selling you more because they wanted more money. You can't even enjoy a massage without them selling you something. Only free, or better said, included, because we paid a lot! Exclamation point, exclamation, exclamation point. Activity was the pool. So, of course, that's where everyone went. It was beyond packed and disgusting! Exclamation point, exclamation point. The entertainment coordinator was as disgusting, if not more. Now, that happens to be Silas. Is the cruise director, who is a legendary cruise director on Norwegian. So she's calling Silas disgusting. The inappropriate games and speech that went way too far was disturbing. Oh, maybe it's the not-so-newlywed game. What do you think, Dirk?
Well,
Have you ever watched that?
oh, yeah.
The not-so-newlywed game? And what did they do about it? Nothing. I'd rather pay the prices of Carnival and put my family under such nastiness. Oh, my God. How does somebody write this? Apart from the expensive prices we paid to cruise, we paid an extra $4,000 more because almost nothing is included except food. That's a hefty price tag if that's true. Generally speaking, I only spend around $1,000 more than the cruise on past cruises for 4 people. 1,000 to 2,000, depending on how many excursions you go on. 4,000, my God, what was going on there? So
I don't know where it's coming from. For a party boat statue? I didn't realize that there was a party boat.
So for a party boat, it's great. Oh, I guess she means because the drink package. So all there truly is to do for free is eat and then eat and then eat, or go to the pool catered to adults, mostly drunk next to the kiddie pool. Oh yeah, they even had to close it at some point because they threw up in it. Are we surprised? Of course they did, because they were all drunk. For a party boat, it's great. For a family, never again, unless you're willing to explain to your children what that guy is doing to the statue by the pool while the MC encourages such behavior. I'd like to see video of that. I'm sure Mr. Sexy Legs got a little too aggressive there.
The guy must work for Disney.
Yes, they work for Carnival, because she's saying they want to work. They got to go back to Carnival. Whoever wrote this works for Carnival. Don't get blinded by the go-karts and laser tag. They removed the included basketball courts, mini golf, and rock climbing to put these in, and you are restricted using them. Save yourself your money and your time. Wow, that's a scathing review. That's a bad one. Let's end on a positive, though. Let's look at an excellent one, Dirk, and then we'll end the show. What do you think?
Yep.
So here's the most recent positive one from January 1. Is there a better one? No. 4 stars, Eastern Caribbean cruise. I traveled with my family of 4 as well as my parents. Did they cruise with children? Look at this. They got pretty good. Pools and sun decks, they didn't give a good grade here. I traveled with my family of 4 as well as my parents for a cruise on the Norwegian Encore December 22nd to 29th. There are so many great things about this new enterprise. It was amazing, safe, and comfortable experience. Based on the package you purchase, you can find the right balance to match your lifestyle. Whether it's the Haven or Vibe Access or just regular access, there are enough options to choose from. My favorite dining choices were the Observation Deck, the Garden Cafe, Los Lobos, and Anda. Very good choices, Kavita. See, this is a reasonable... That's pretty consistent, right? The Observation Lounge is a nice little place. Garden Cafe is amazing on the Encore. Los Lobos is I love Los Lobos. I recommended this in the group before. When I ate there on the Dawn, it was spectacular. And Anda, we heard some good reviews from about Anda from the group too, Dirk. I know Tom likes Tom, our friend Tom, our old friend who's been around for a long time. He likes Anda. I've never eaten that, Tom. You got to let us know if you're what your favorite is. Maybe the stuffed veal chop, I think, is Tom's favorite. My favorite activity were the laser tag games at the Atrium, the Quiet Man Show, and Kinky Boats. Pros: the cleanliness must be commended, as greeters at each restaurant ensured happy, washy, clean hands of each guest upon the entry of the restaurant. This must be a new cruiser.
Yep.
Right? Room stewards ensure the twice timely, blah, blah, blah. Food options are limitless and healthy. Drink options are limitless. Duty-free shopping. Cons: the cruise is pricey. That's true. It is pricey on the Encore. Keep a close light on your folio for duplicated charges. I've never had that problem. Have you ever had double charges?
No, I as a matter of fact, I had a lot of stuff I didn't get charged for.
You should look at it. Yeah, you should look at it. But
I mean, you check your hotel bill. I mean,
yeah, you check it. You gotta check it. But I've never had that. That would really get me upset. Pool deck. Go ahead.
Check your supermarket bill when you leave. I mean,
Make restaurant reservations well before you board. Book Encore Speedway and laser tag and shows well in advance. Good tips. See, that's a reasonable review, right? That's a reasonable human being. All right, so that's a good one. So good. And Tom, of course I remember, my man. And Andrew says a cruise is what one makes of it, and I can't agree more, Dirk. That's absolutely true. If you're going to go anywhere, a lot of these people, especially the younger generation, they're fascinated with online reviews, and they'll go and they won't hesitate ripping anybody apart for their own self-entertainment.
Thomas's thing is it's also buco. They don't have a stuffed veal chop.
I thought Osobuco was stuffed veal chop.
It's not a veal chop.
Oh, it's not? What is it?
Osobuco comes from the leg part.
Oh, sorry, Dirk. I'm not the.
All right.
I'm not the executive chef in the group. So that's interesting. That's an interesting reviews, don't you think, Dirk?
Yeah.
So that's an interesting show. I hope you guys are doing well, and we're gonna close out the show, Dirk. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
No, I think we heard enough negatives today.
Yeah, we had one of those shows. At least it's not. At least nobody died. At least we weren't talking about death. Oh, that's a
Well,
good thing.
well, just FYI, it has nothing to do with this, but the latest thing I heard, what you heard, the latest thing I heard was that the grandfather that
Oh,
said
I saw.
his baby on, they
I
now
saw that.
say that he should have been fully aware of it. I mean, on the other hand, the way I feel about it, why would you take a little child and hold it outside
Oh, Dirk.
from the 16th floor? I mean,
I saw. I saw the video. I saw the video. In fact, I think somebody posted it in the group this past week, where he clearly. They show him walking up. And it's a horrible story, folks, and I hate talking about it.
it's really bad.
But they show this guy walking up to the open window and looking out of the window. And then his granddaughter comes running over to him, and he picks her up. And I don't know if you remember, the initial story was that he was dangling her
Yeah.
over the rail. And guess what? That happened to be true.
Yep.
They show it, and you could see the video as clear as day. It's a horrific story. Horrific story. I hate even talking about it. But it was just a total preventable tragedy, and I hope everybody in the group learns from that. You don't mess around like that. You don't do when you're on a cruise ship. You gotta be reasonable. You gotta be safe. And that man was acting completely recklessly, based on what I saw.
Look at it this way too, Charles. Forget about it. Well, forget about it. That sounds like New York. But the thing is, what you got to realize too, if you are up there, you're 16 floors up, and you compare that to a building that has 16 stories,
my
would you do
God.
the same thing?
No, I don't know what I wouldn't do if it was one story. It was completely horrible.
And water,
Horrible.
if anything falling on water from that height is just like falling on a brick. I mean, that water is not soft.
Horrible. But let's talk about something more positive, Dirk. That's just totally a heartbreaking story. So here we are, folks. It's another night, another show is over, and Dirk, this was our 35th show. You believe that?
Gonna leave 15 more, and we can have free champagne.
Free champagne soon, folks. Maybe we'll open one up while we're broadcasting, Dirk. But in the meantime, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I have to do my obligatory promotion. So go check out the Cruise Mojo page. Cruise Mojo is something that I started. It has a cool little logo. It's just a Facebook page. I'm trying to get some followers. So if you haven't done so already, take a look at Cruise Mojo. I'm going to be updating this page occasionally with some cruise photos and information, and trying to get this going. There's also a YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter. I'm not very active, but I'd appreciate if you go by and check out Cruise Mojo. I think it's a cool name. And the logo is reflective of live streaming, folks. If you know, in New York in the summer, spring and summer, I go out and I broadcast the ships leaving New York City and going out to the particular destinations. It's a lot of fun. Dirk and I do this weekly show, and we plan on expanding our live broadcast in the future. So check out Cruise Mojo page, Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, and we're going to get that going. I also have a website planned. It's under construction right now. I'm going to create cruisemojo.com in the near future. So that's our Cruise Mojo stuff. And it's always great being with you all on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Amin Show. It's always great to touch base with my friend Dirk. Dirk, it's we don't get the chance to speak very often, so it's always great talking with you each Monday night, talking about the group and what's happening. I hope you enjoy your rest of the time you have down there in Alabama. Enjoying the summer, enjoying the warmer weather versus up here. It's been cold last week or so.
Well, the only good thing is being down here now. When without college football, you don't have to listen to Roll Tide every day.
And it's always great to see our familiar friends and our regulars come, and just a shout out to Tom and I want to thank Andrew for giving us all that content to speak about. Who else? We got Deb. We haven't seen Deb in a while, so welcome back, Deb. It's great to see you and all our other friends that are on here. I hope I'm not missing anybody. Kerry, thank you, Kerry, for joining us and giving us your insight in the comments. It's always great to connect with everyone in the group, especially our regulars here on the Inman Show. So we wish you a great week. We went a little bit over tonight, folks, and we'll see you next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here in the page. Until then, enjoy our Facebook group, and we'll see you on the page. Right, Dirk?
That's right. Good night, everybody, and welcome back next Monday.
Good night, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.
The end logo to come up. Bye, everybody. Have a great week. I'll see you soon.